And she is expanding her as ever range into a limited edition range of candles costing a mere 147 English pounds, a snip. Wow. What is so controversial about them is that they are inspired, she tells us, by her children. Her children are actually named in the publicity literature with their full names, Prince Archie of Sussex and Princess Lilibet of Sussex. And I noticed that in some of her social media posts, she even posted a picture of the candles next to a necklace that clearly she'd been given with her children's names on it. And look, I'm a news reporter, and I try to be kind of fair and equal about these things because I'm not a commentator, but I think it's shameless. It's absolutely shameless monetizing of her children's royal links, and I think people will be very upset about it.
So Meghan and Harry just launched candles inspired by their children's royal titles for $147 each, while King Charles prepares for his state visit with Trump. This crosses a new line in monetizing royal connections, and the timing couldn't be worse. We'll analyze expert reactions, devastating poll numbers, and how this connects to their latest controversies.
And there was a big row with the BBC, actually, when they reported that she wasn't happy about this because Harry said he'd spoken to her first, but it turned out, actually, I think he'd sort of spoken to her as a fait accompli or whatever. But the key point was it seemed almost sort of impudent, really, to be choosing her name. But my goodness, now we actually see her cashing in on it. I mean, remember, Meghan has been quite clear. She has said in an interview that she hopes maybe to go into business with Lilibet in the future, that they could be involved in something. So here, they're not using their names yet. They're just using the birth dates, but they're using them in the promotional literature. So who knows what might come in the future? You know, a Lilibet range, a princess. I mean, this is, look, here we are in America. You know, it's the great egalitarian capital of the world. And then they insisted on using those titles for their children, prince and princess. To me, there's something almost absurd about that.
This is the exact escalation everyone feared. The Queen was reportedly furious when they chose her private nickname Lilibet, and now they're literally profiting from it. She previously stated she wants to go into business with her daughter. This is just the beginning of commercializing those royal titles.
I was surprised by how low that figure was. I thought it would be much higher, maybe as up to 90%. I think many people in Britain are sick to death of the way Harry and Meghan have monetized their new roles. They're exploiting their royal status while backing commercial ventures. The recent trip to Australia was very much a case in point. Rebecca wrote a brilliant piece about what went on behind the scenes and all the money making that was involved in it, which I would really commend. But it did very much illustrate what Richard was saying about the late Queen Elizabeth's concern about royal family members using their position to make money. And it really is an uncomfortable situation. We all accept that they've got to earn a living because they've turned their back on their royal lives, but then they haven't.
That 61% figure is shocking because it should be much higher. Their Australia tour was the perfect example, mixing veteran ceremonies with Netflix filming and commercial partnerships. The public sees right through this fake royal tour strategy while cashing in.
But in the background was all the time, there was a money-making theme to it. And as I say, I'm just surprised that more people aren't voting with their fingers and saying the number should have been much higher in that poll.
Exactly. They're creating counterfeit royal engagements. Real royals serve without profit, but they salute veterans one day, then promote business ventures the next. It's why Charles was so concerned about protecting the monarchy's integrity from commercial exploitation.
Actually, I would say it's potentially very damaging to the state visit we are out here in New York to cover.
Well, look, I'm going to read you what Harry said. In his speech, he seemed effectively to take a direct aim at the Trump administration by saying, "This is a moment for American leadership, a moment for America to show that it can honour its international treaty obligations, not out of charity, but out of its enduring role in global security and strategic stability." Strong stuff there, Richard Kay.
Yeah, very strong stuff indeed. Potentially uncomfortable too for the king when he arrives. How will Donald Trump react to this? Trump has form in this area. When Harry has said things in the past, he has put stuff on his social media channels. But he's going to have a captive audience next week. He's going to have Harry's father sitting in the room with him in the Oval Office. Might he be?
This creates an impossible diplomatic situation. Trump previously criticised their Oprah interview and threatened visa consequences. Now Charles has to sit across from Trump while his son lectures America on foreign policy. The timing is deliberately destructive.
I mean, let's put this in context. Harry is here in the USA as a guest. They've kindly let him live here, despite his admitted past drug use. They haven't made an issue of that. They said, fine, you can stay. Happy to have you here. And then instead, he gives these speeches lecturing their president on how he should be conducting world affairs. I mean, just the sheer chutzpah at best, but I would say, arrogance at worst. So you've got that, but also this grandstanding by going to Ukraine. It's not the first time. I mean, last time he went, he arrived on the same day as our Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper. And he knows that it's very difficult for Prince William to visit Ukraine. I mean, William's been, he's been on military exercises and he's been close to Ukraine, but I don't think the British government would actually let him go. And Harry knows this, so it's a chance for him to, a bit of one-upmanship, I would say.
The ingratitude is staggering. America granted him residency despite admitted cocaine use, and he repays them by lecturing their president. Meanwhile, William can't visit Ukraine for security reasons. So this becomes calculated one-upmanship using military credentials.
We've seen Harry and Meghan going to Australia, mixing those public engagements with money-making stuff. And here we have Harry showing he's the military man. He knows he's got that military background. And I think it makes sure that he and Meghan are in the headlines before the King and Queen come to the USA.
We mentioned your Mail Plus column earlier.
The pattern is unmistakable. Launch candles during the Queen's birthday week, give anti-Trump speeches before Charles's visit. Every major royal event gets hijacked for their headlines. It's strategic disruption disguised as activism.
If he'd gone to Ukraine because he wanted to highlight, for example, the work of its Invictus team taking part in, the forthcoming games, that I think, could be argued as being acceptable. But he's not done that. He's gone and given a very high profile and deeply political speech at a time where the president of the country, which his father's visiting, has expressed doubts about the Ukrainian leadership. It can only be taken one way, as a bit of a dig at President Trump. So the timing for the palace really isn't great.
Charles is trapped. He can't defend his son's political statements without appearing to endorse them, but he can't criticise them either. This puts the entire state visit at risk when UK-US relations need strengthening, not sabotage.
She was saying publicly that she was absolutely disgusted by Jeffrey Epstein and she abhorred him. And then immediately, or a few weeks later, she was sucking up to him in these emails, talking about what a wonderful friend he'd been to her. And so then she sort of destroyed her credibility, I'd say. And anything that she wrote in a memoir, I personally would be very sceptical about how true it was.
The Epstein connection destroyed her credibility completely. When royals lie about serious relationships, then try to profit from their titles, the public loses all trust. It's the same pattern. Exploit royal status while claiming victimhood.
And this one might have been one of my most conclusive results to date. Richard Kay, this one really was up there. 92% of you, that's nearly 33,000 people, voted no, while just 5% voted yes. The remaining 3% said yes, but only if they apologise to the royals. I thought it was them who wanted an apology first. Those were extremely conclusive results. We love hearing your voices on those.
92% rejection is catastrophic. That's nearly unanimous public opinion. The 3% demanding apologies have it backwards too. The damaged party demanding apologies from the victims perfectly captures their delusion about public perception.
Is this deliberate, or is this ignorance and foolishness? As regard to make these comments at this time with his father coming out, is it thoughtless? I don't know the answer to that, but you've got to wonder what he's thinking.
It does make it feel like he's trying to give himself some sort of relevance, and that he's still a voice. You know, I'm here, don't forget about me, and I was in the army, so I know what I'm talking about.
Is it deliberate? Is it ignorance? We've been asking that for the last 6 years, Rebecca.
Will we ever get the answer, Luke? Yeah, exactly.
This isn't ignorance, it's calculated. He knows exactly when Charles visits, knows it creates diplomatic problems, but prioritises personal relevance over family relationships. The military credentials become props for attention seeking, not genuine service.